Greetings and salutations, and a warm welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily podcast, the show where we traverse the vast, ever-changing landscape of technology, one conversation at a time. And I'm your host, Neil C. Hughes, and today we're delving into the heart of digital collaboration platforms, the realities of working from home, and how technology is helping us mend those broken communication systems. And our guide on this journey today is Sriram Sampath, and he's an expert in the customer experience landscape with over 2 decades of experience. He is currently the Vice President of CX Management and Collaboration Platforms at Tata Communications, spelled TA, and they're a company that is on the front line of enabling smarter, seamless and more efficient workspaces on a global basis. So today I've invited him on to join me and touch on some of the topics that will hit close to home for most of us in the post-pandemic world, and that is the evolution of digital collaboration platforms, those blurred lines between our personal and professional lives, the challenges of a hybrid working culture, and the way forward in tackling issues of procrastination and those communication gaps. So buckle up and hold on tight, because I'm going to beam your ears all the way to India, where today's guest is waiting to share his story. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Thank you, Neil. Thanks for this opportunity. My name is Sriram Sampath. I work with Tata Communications. I manage the UCaaS product and engineering portfolio of the company. Been working in the UC and the CC, the Unified Communication and the Contact Center portfolio for the last 2.5 decades. So I had the good opportunity to work with multiple BFSI and telecom clients worldwide, and also work with a lot of partner ecosystem, building alliances, building product capabilities around the partner products and taking them to market. So lovely to talk to you, Neil, and wonderful topic today. So looking forward to it.
It's a huge honor to have you on the podcast today. And you appeared on my tech radar when I was reading about your vast experience in CX and technology. So I'm curious, how have you seen the role of things like digital collaboration platforms evolve in recent years, particularly in light of this increased remote and hybrid working that we're seeing all over the world right now?
Yeah, so this is probably the most looked at question in terms of both from an employee perspective and an employer perspective, right? So, and these digital platforms have been there in the past, even before the pandemic struck us, but they were limited in terms of adoption. They were limited in terms of what channels employees and employers chose to adapt and have them used for communication. But I think the pandemic made the adoption of these platforms much faster, and multiple different channels, multiple different ecosystems, came into existence to support the business needs, to support the communication needs, and a vast ecosystem of other providers to support these collaboration platforms also enabled a lot of business to do what they otherwise couldn't have done. So a lot of things have evolved at a summarized level. And I think it's also evolved to an extent where one size doesn't fit all anymore, right? So at least 3-4 years ago, there were limited types of discussions happening around how collaboration ecosystems have to be defined and designed inside an organization and outside of it. There were never conversations of outside, right? It was always inside, restricted to a few conference rooms, and hardly few users had video-enabled large displays in their cabins. But now things have evolved so much that there are special projects run by a large number of companies to redefine their infrastructure to suit a lot of teams, which needs different types of experiences from the digital platform that they work on. So some could be even small rooms, 3-4 seaters, but having all the technology equipped so that they can have seamless conversations with their partners, with their colleagues who live in a different geography, with customers. and at the same time, extend them to a large ecosystem as well when required. So a lot of players have come forward to support this business, and the adoption has been quite encouraging, because one thing is to have a lot of environments, a lot of devices, lots of infrastructure, lots of technology to be there. But the other thing is to evolve as you go by, and start adopting them, put them to good use, and see the outcome of that. So that's encouraging in the last 2-3 years, I would say.
100% with you there. And I think there are so many different tech buzzwords now, all frequenting our news feeds, and it is often difficult to not lose sight, or to lose sight of the problems that we're trying to solve in the workplace. So again, from your perspective, how does a powerful yet simplified deliberate digital collaboration platform, how are they helping in building autonomous teams, and why do you think it's so critical for the modern workforce? Because we're solving some pretty big problems here, aren't we?
Definitely, and it's important for the business to look at how they are supporting both their customers and their employees in enabling them to provide a smart digital ecosystem. And it's just not providing an application of their choice, right? That's just the starting point. It involves around having the right connectivity. It involves around providing the right security measures, to make sure that irrespective of where the employee is working from, whether it's office, whether the employee is on the move, working from home, the connectivity is now a given. But then on top of the connectivity, security has to be in place. Proper authorizations have to happen to make sure that users don't suffer when they are actually logging in from a remote location. They should get the seamless access to all the data that they would otherwise have when they are working from office, and provide them with other enablement tools, such as whether it's voice or video or messaging, or having access to a SharePoint folder, for example. All of these are very important. The second thing is, obviously there's a lot of hybrid workplace discussion happening. So the same employees who are working from elsewhere today and anywhere today are going to be coming into office as well during the same course of the week. So it should be very seamless for them, whether they work from office or elsewhere. And at the same time, the infrastructure, as I was talking in the previous point, has to enable them to be able to work with their colleagues, with their team members, because they're spread across now. A lot of people are still working from different locations. Not all of them have come to work working in the same office. So you can't afford to have a large room just being occupied by 2 or 3 people, and you cannot have a one-size-fit-all solution there. Also, it's important for these teams to have capability to do what they want in terms of their application profiles, in terms of their security restrictions, access restrictions, and so on. So all of these are very important from a collaboration perspective, Neil. And I think that's where things are moving, and that's how we see it when we are having discussions with our customers. It's just not adopting a technology; it's about an end-to-end managed service that they expect from partners like us.
And another thing that put you on my radar was your collaboration with some pretty big companies out there, from Cisco to Microsoft, which seem to have also catapulted you into this unique position in the tech market. I appreciate you probably can't share too much, but are you able to share a little bit more about the kinds of solutions that you've developed through some of these collaborations?
Certainly. Microsoft and Cisco are our long-standing partners. And there are many more as well. But yes, Microsoft and Cisco has been one of the 2 major partners that we work with in our UCaaS offering. So we have a solution that we take to market for our customers, and that comprises of the UCaaS applications that comes from Cisco, for example, the Cisco WebEx meetings or calling, and Microsoft, the Teams, the phone systems, and all of that. We use those applications, but we also provide an underlay, which is our voice, which is our network, which is our security. And then on top of the application, we provide managed services as well. That way, a customer gets an end-to-end solution from Tata Communications. They could be in different phases of their journey in their communications technology landscape. But irrespective of where they are, we would be able to enable them, help them in completing that journey with the application provider of their choice, and help them in their core business while leaving the communications and technology part of the business to us. So we work with them on other accounts as well, but on the UC space, like you said, they've been very good partners of Tata Communications.
Excellent. And something else I wanted to bring up today, the Wall Street Journal recently talked about disappearing weekends and broken communication systems in this hybrid first world of working that we find ourselves in now. So I've got to ask, what in your view are the biggest challenges in this area, and how can they be addressed, do you think?
I think concept of disappearing weekends, very relatable, because I think all of us have this feeling at least once in a while, saying, "Hey, is it even a working day, or is it a holiday? What am I doing now?" And then that's both a good and a bad in my view, because even before this hybrid workspace, has evolved so much that it is today. Even before that, I think there were a lot of people who used to, clear up their inboxes on Sunday. Yeah. I mean, I used to do that at least, so that when I get into office on Monday, I don't have to look at my backlog of mails. And the actions that I have to do, I would have done that on a Saturday or a Sunday morning, where I could get good 2-3 hours. But that was more like a choice, right? It's each individual's way of working. But if because of this hybrid first world, if more employees and employers are looking at the communication being there, and employees being there available, you're always online to be reached, you're always looking at your mails to respond to, that makes the personal and professional lives a little bit blurred. And it's okay for people who want it that way, because the same set of people also during the working days balance their personal life as well, so it's advantageous for them. But it's not so for the others who wants those 2 days, or the number of days that they have on a week as off days, to be intruded by a working request coming from their managers or from their colleagues, for which they have to respond to. So I would say it's a personal choice, and the more and more we want to behave in a particular way, I think that's how the world would see us. So, and if we want to actually have this balance between personal life and professional life, whether it's hybrid world or not, it's up to us to decide. So I wouldn't put the disappearing weekends as a result of what has happened in the last few years of this digital collaboration platforms and coming into play, and how hybrid work culture has evolved. But it's more of a personal choice, because even in a hybrid world, one could stay focused and finish the job in the working hours, and one could feel better if they want. One could feel that it's better if they kind of balance it across all 7 days of the week. So it's a personal choice, Neil.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's a personal choice there, because some will want the right to switch off, and quite rightly so, and then return to 100 plus emails after a few days off. But others, that would feel like hell, and so disorganized, and they will want to just chip away and just take a few out of their inbox. So when they return to work, there's not that much to do. It's personal choice. We are all different. We all work differently. But I think we all strive to balance personal and professional lives in different ways. So what role can technology play in helping employees seamlessly switch between tasks that require focused attention and personal time?
Well, I think some basic housekeeping rules that one could adopt, as simple as, if you want to focus, I've seen a lot of people even sign out of messenger applications. That gives them the time to think, stay focused on something that they have to solve for today or plan for tomorrow. These tools have been there for long. It's nothing new, but it's just that a lot of us have stopped adopting or embracing those features and functionalities. I heard somebody say that this year one of the large application providers has launched 300 new features. I mean, that's great, but how many are we using, right? So Lots of features and functionalities are there to help us, balance it. But do we do that is the question. I think uh, in Tata Communications, in my team specifically, we say, okay, between this time and let's say between 2 and 3, we don't do any large meetings. We just use that time for discussing the roadmap or discussing what we need to do for the next quarter. But that way, we at least hand off a particular time across the team members to make sure that that time is saved for something strategic in nature. But it's easily possible for somebody to manage their calendars in such a way that you strike a balance between them. And as I said, in the current work from anywhere culture, our calendars get overbooked, double booked, triple booked. I think all of us have that problem. It's also important that we invite people for meetings only if we believe they are absolutely required. Because what happens today is an email will be there, 20 people will be there in that mail. We just press the meeting button, all 20 will be copied into that invitee list. And the meeting goes out. Everybody thinks that they have to join that meeting. Somebody would be an optional, but they actually are a required participant. The person who sends out the meeting doesn't even look at that many times. So a lot of meetings gets booked. It gets booked, and there is an inert feeling that if I have a meeting and if I don't know whether I'm required or not, I'll still join and see what's happening. If I can contribute, I'll contribute. If not, I'll kind of do something in parallel. But what happens is neither of it happens. You neither contribute nor we are able to achieve something in parallel, because you cannot multitask like that. But people can multitask, but not in this particular way. You're ineffective in both the channels that way.
And right now, I think some of the big high-profile tech companies and an increasing number of businesses across multiple industries are starting to insist their workers need to return to the office, spend more time back in that physical space. And I'm curious about your views on that transition back into the physical workspace. And are there any potential friction points that you foresee in this return to work learning curve? And how can companies better mitigate them? Because everything's continuously evolving, isn't it?
It is. I think the inertia exists, and if I have to kind of point them to one or two major reasons why the friction exists, is because I think people believe that whatever they can do in office can be done when they work from anywhere, right? So that's one reason why the inertia is there. The other reason is this is the employee's view. The employer's view is if employees come to work, they'll be more productive than staying from their homes or staying from some other location and working. So that's the reason for friction, basically. And the other thing why employees, I believe, prefer to come to work is when I have a team and I have to discuss something important, something strategic in nature, something that I have to whiteboard. While all these tools exist, there's nothing that can replace a human-to-human connect in person, right? This 45 minutes conversation or 30 minutes conversation that I have with you, the same conversation, if I have with you in person, I think the rapport gets built much better. Yeah. So the bonding never happens as much as one would want to when they are done offline, right? When you're actually in person, it's very different. So I think that's one other reason why it's important to get back to office and start working, because you get to see people around you. You can actually walk across the hall and get things done in 5 minutes, which otherwise would take a 30-minute conference call with 5 different parties involved at a minimum, and that's literally 30 minutes of everybody's time not productively used. So a lot of things can actually get better, but it's a trade-off. We need to get the benefits of both the worlds. So there are certain functions which makes most impact when they are actually in office working together as a team in person. But some teams, it probably doesn't matter where they work from. So it's a trade-off from that perspective. But certainly the bonding elements will be far better when people are actually together and they work as a team together in person.
I completely agree with you. As you said there, for many teams, it doesn't matter where they work. And we do, though, from some leaders hear a lot about misplaced concerns or patterns of procrastination in the remote and hybrid work environment. So I think this was also highlighted in a recent Microsoft report where they talked about productivity paranoia. I don't know if you saw that report, but can you share your thoughts on some of these problems and ideas and how, again, digital collaboration tools can assist in fixing some of those patterns?
Sure. I think on one hand, employees believe that they are working harder than before, because that's also because in this hybrid work culture, when they are working outside of office, there's a lot of calls they're getting into. And I was just saying in the previous line, uh, there are back-to-back calls that a lot of people attend, but not every one of them is productive. So in the minds of employee, yes, I am actually working, but when they go back home, how much of work has translated to a productive outcome is questionable every day, right? So sometimes we achieve a lot, sometimes we don't, and that's very true even when you're working from home. But what distracts is, the number of meetings that one's getting into, which are not very productive many times. And I think I read that report. The number of meetings have increased year on year. The number of hours that people spend on calls have increased year on year. So which is good if they all lead to a productive outcome. And that's the question. That's the other side, right? The other side, the managers, if you look at it from their perspective, believe that the outcome is not productive enough. So I think it's a combination of how we spend our time in achieving the outcome, and it doesn't have to correlate with the number of hours one works. Because if I'm able to get things done in shorter span of time, why not? Because I can use the rest of the time for doing something better, either in personal or professional life. I could study something new. I could look for look for something that I could do tomorrow in terms of my personal or my professional life. So I think it's a result of that where I believe a lot of procrastination happens, because I'm completely bogged by a lot of meetings, and I don't have time to act on things. So I say, okay, let me put this for tomorrow. That's one of the views. The second view I have is, and I have done this personally as well, which is if I have an important topic, right, that I want to discuss with my team, and I know that tomorrow I'm going to meet my whole team in person, I would actually put that for tomorrow and not today, right? It may not mean a lot in terms of the outcome, but if I keep doing this as a habit, then it means that what could be done today actually is getting done tomorrow, because of the way of our work, right? The hybrid work and all of that. So it's important to see the impact of procrastination, and if the impact is high, get it done now. If the impact is not that high, and the team interaction would result in a better outcome, then it's good to procrastinate, right? So it's about that, and I think it's difficult to measure which is good, which is not. But I think one has to be very cautious about what one has to achieve today versus move it for a later time.
And we have people listening to this podcast in 165 countries. And I suspect the one thing that we all have in common is leaving a meeting room thinking that was another meeting that could have been just an email. It's something that's a universal thing, too many meetings. But looking towards the future, what's next for you? Are you able to provide some insight into the future direction and maybe a few upcoming initiatives or strategies that we can expect that will help you continue to drive growth and innovation in this digital transformation space? You're probably locked down as to what you can share about the future, but is there anything you can leave us with?
We are continuously evolving the way we are building our platform capabilities. We moved away from a product offering player to a platform offering player. So it enables us to provide the capabilities that our customers want, and build some of those capabilities by themselves. So that's one. The second one is we are bringing out new features into our global rapid portfolio. The recent one you may have seen is, we launched with Microsoft the availability of Microsoft Operator Connect in India 3-4 days ago. and we are one of the launch partners for India, which means a lot of customers who have operations in India can now leverage Microsoft Teams and Tata Communications capability through our Global Rapid platform, and start communicating with the PSTN and mobile numbers, which otherwise they wouldn't have. And we were, as I said before, with Cisco and Microsoft, we have been partnering with them in different levels, in different markets, in different capabilities. And our Global Rapid is, evolving for meeting different types of customer needs. We have various plans to make sure that, if a customer just wants the basic features, we just give them that so they can start running quickly. But if the customer is in a big migration project, they need a lot of other services. They want us to manage their equipments, their SBCs, their other carriers. We do that as well. We also provide, analytics services. We provide monitoring capabilities, management capabilities on top of these applications. That helps them to kind of measure how they are doing, take corrective actions if things are not working well as they thought it to be. And we are all the way there to help them out reach their business outcome in their projects that they engage us with. So that's what we are doing. And obviously, there's a lot in the roadmap as well, Neil, and we will announce them as we complete them and we launch them in the markets. So quite an interesting time ahead.
Exciting times ahead indeed. And for anyone listening that would like to continue this conversation that we've started today, I'll just keep up to speed with some of the work that you're doing and some of the new releases and what you've got planned for the future. Where would you point everyone listening? What's the best starting point for everything?
Yeah, and first of all, thanks for listening to this conversation. I hope it was productive for you and not another meeting in the calendar. But yes, you can reach out for more information by visiting tatacommunications.com. We have all our services mentioned there, and you'll have all the links to get in touch with us from there on. You also have good case studies, brochures, if you want to know a little bit more about what we offer in our product portfolio.
Well, as I said at the very beginning of the podcast, there's a lot of tech buzzwords at the moment, such as hybrid working, remote working, and it's easy to lose sight of the problems that we're solving with technology. So for me personally, I've just loved sitting down with you today, talking about CX management, collaboration platforms, fixing patterns of procrastination, broken communication systems, and solving those real problems in the workplace to make us all more productive. And as we also discussed, we all work differently, so there isn't a one-size-fits-all, but so many big takeaways for me from our conversation today. So just thank you for sitting down and sharing your insights today.
Thank you, Neil. Thanks for your time.
Wow, so many insights gained today about the changing face of workplace collaboration, the hybrid work culture, the internet, the intelligent use of technology to enhance our productivity. And I think some of the topics we discussed today should resonate with everybody listening, no matter where you're listening in the world. And as the guest put it today, it's all about evolving our platforms and adapting our strategies to meet this new normal. And the world of work as we know it is changing. It's going to continuously evolve. And with it, our approach towards things like communication, collaboration and productivity are also set to evolve too. So just before I sign off today, I want you to ponder on how we can leverage technology to streamline our tasks, reduce procrastination, and create a more balanced and productive work life, because that's what we all want, right? Let me know your thoughts on this. It's something that impacts every single one of us. So email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilC.Hughes. And as I prepare to leave you one more time, remember, stay curious, stay inspired, and best of luck on your own tech learning journey. But I also invite you to join me again tomorrow. So thank you so much for listening as always. And until next time, don't be a stranger.